Hey everybody, today we're going to review the cheapest CarPlay radio that you can buy on Amazon. At the time I purchased the radio, it was about $74. I have watched it slowly creep up in price. As you watch this video, you'll realize there'll quickly be a point of diminishing returns. I've gotten a lot of requests to do this video since the installation video, so we're going to jump right into this. Let's get started. If you want to see the extensive installation video of this radio and backup camera, you can click this link in the top right corner. We'll take you to that video. Before I get started, I'm going to quickly address the elephant in the room. Why would I buy the cheapest CarPlay radio on Amazon? Everybody's got a smartphone, so you want smartphone interaction, but you don't want to buy a radio that's going to be at least a quarter or more than the resale value of your car. And this is my just get around town car, so it seemed like a good investment to throw in a car like this. Good value that comes with a backup camera. It was a low-risk investment. I use this radio primarily for CarPlay, backing up the car and the radio. So I'm going to go through some of these features. This is the radio, and the radio interface is actually quite nice. It's sensitive. It has the features you would expect from a radio, scanning through the channels, local and DX, the ability to store channels in predetermined locations. It also supports AM if you're still listening to AM. It's just a radio, but it does work rather nice. I have no complaints about the radio, in short. Here's a selection for A-Link or D-Play. I don't have an Android phone that I use, and A-Link would mirror the iPhone onto the screen. I don't use that either, so I'm not going to review those features. Here's an option for SD card. The slot's right there. We have Bluetooth, audio video in. If you want to hook up a DVD player, I hit that button. That's what happens when you hit it. There's nothing connected to it. I'll hit the home button. Here's a setup. Go through some of the things right quick. And the setup is a bit more robust than I'd expect. There is some rudder controls to flip some options on this radio. I don't have it on my car, so I couldn't connect it, right? The key light cycle seems a bit irrelevant to make these lights stop flashing. Set what color you want for the radio light. Okay, whatever. I can set mine to blue and just leave it alone. You'll notice mine is cycling because it's factory defaulted. We're going to get into that later. But autoplay is set for autoplay so that when I plug my phone in, it'll connect to it and start CarPlay, as opposed to A-Link, which will mirror it. The backup parking camera is set to on. Here's the time and date options. Again, factory defaulted. Language selection. Quite a few languages. The background, and the acoustic settings for the car. It's a nice UI. It's not too bad at all. We could slide this bottom bar to get some more settings. It's a little clunky, but it works. This is to set up the features on the steering wheel. I don't have it, but it is a robust setting if you do have it. And the brightness, contrast, the colors of the screen, which are not ideal. You would think that in the middle positions, it would be good. I'll go through that in a bit. The config information about this device and passcode. Back to our main screen. I don't use Bluetooth connectivity because I have CarPlay, but there is a Bluetooth connectivity feature. Auxiliary input right over here on the device, lower left. Little reset button way down here. Infrared for the remote. And we can see the microphone for the telephone. There's a nighttime mode that you can hit with this icon. The second time shuts it off. That's just to blank the screen. Hit it again, turns the screen back on. We're going to try out the USB feature just for completeness. I've loaded a couple of MP3s from bensound.com onto this USB stick, and we're going to try out the UI. And I'm noticing immediately there are 6 files. I've only loaded 3. We can see an underscore in some of these files. The MP3 sound quality is good. The functionality of the UI is good. Those mystery files that appear bother me, though. I don't know why it's showing them. It makes me want to recheck this USB drive on my computer and see if I went and did something wrong. See, when I hit next, it says open file failed, and then it goes to the file thereafter. So something definitely buggy about this. I don't use USB for MP3s anyway. This is the first time I've actually used this software, so it doesn't really matter to me. but I wanted to point this out for the review. Yeah, very strange. I did notice an option for movies and photos, so I'd like to go back to the computer, make sure I didn't have any extra files appear from my Mac. I go through this. I don't see anything in the system volume. I'm just going to check it out. We're going to throw on an MP4 and an MOV as well and see if videos work on this thing. I don't know why anybody would want to use this for videos, but for a thorough review, we're going to go and do that. Who knows? I'll confirm on the Linux box there are only 3 MP3s on this USB stick. The problem is in the radio. So we're going to put the stick back in and we're going to select movie, and you'll see that it creates extra files in movie as well. Obviously a bug, but it's going to auto start on the first movie, and it's an MOV and it's upside down, and you could hear how jerky it is. It's terrible. Clearly this thing is not going to run 1080p MOVs, but yeah, and it doesn't look like there's any way to pause it on the UI. I'm going to have to pull a USB stick. Wow, you see how slow it drew the name? So I'm pull that out, and we're going to try the MP4 that's on there. I'm going to put it back in. We'll give it a go. Yeah, it's real nice. So MP4 codec seems to work really nice on here. I don't know why you'd want to watch movies on this, but I think we're done with the USB. I'll assume the same functionality and bugs is going to be found in the SD card as well. I want to point out for a minute that this display does look a lot better in person than it does on camera. There's a polarized filter on this display that does cause some artifacts to appear in this video. Furthermore, I have to adjust the display so that it looks good on camera, not a setting that I would generally have if I were viewing the radio for everyday use. I previously mentioned that this radio was factory defaulted, and we have seen that I had set the display of the button on the top left to blue. But if I plug in my iPhone and the engine's not running and the battery starts running a bit low, strange things are going to happen. Autoplay didn't kick off, so I'm going to have to hit the button manually to get it to go. Now watch this, I'm not going to edit the movie in any way. We can see if the phone's going to connect, but now it's going to be jerky when it appears on the screen. And this only happens on my car when the engine is off, when I try and connect the phone. And if I disconnect it, watch this, it doesn't go back to the radio. You count down 3, 2, 1, crunch. And now the radio has factory defaulted and it's rebooting. Watch the light of the buttons on the top left. They're going to cycle now. You see, it's back at factory default again. It's a bug in the radio. On mine at least, if the car is off and the voltage on the radio starts dropping a bit and you disconnect it, it factory defaults the radio. Unbelievable. We'll test out the rear backlit camera while I'm listening to music, so I'll put this into reverse. And there's the camera. Oh, what's that? Like, share, subscribe. Helps me out a lot when you do. Shameless plug right there. Hit that button right down there below. Really helps me out. Take time to do that. But we could see that backlit camera does work very nice on this unit. A little bright note there. But it does cut out the music. When I take it out of reverse, music kicks right back on. It's not an option that you could set. But I guess it's a safety feature. Put it in reverse, music dies. There's different reverse options, how long it holds the camera after you come out of reverse. But there's nothing to inhibit or stop it from inhibiting the music from cutting out. These overlays on this camera for the different colors don't actually move with the steering wheel. There's nothing that integrates into the car with them. They're kind of a show. All in all, the camera on this thing is solid. It's a nice value add. I got nothing bad to say. It's a win. I wanted to touch on supported apps by Carplay right quick. I don't use them that often, but they do work. This, of course, assumes that you have network connectivity. I'm in front of the house, so I have cellular and wireless. It does come up with very little lag because of that. TuneIn also works just fine. Doing a little editing here to conserve time, but I'm demonstrating that it does work. These apps also work as well. I'm going to go through the music player now in Carplay. I realize the sound of the music is going to be subjective through this video. We'll go through the functionality of the player. It works just like the music player for Carplay in my wife's VW, which is a high-end stereo, all the functionality is there. I found no problems in the execution of this software on this radio. I got nothing bad to say about it. I don't know what this is. I've never used this before. This is like Apple's version of radio, but I guess if that's your thing, I'm basically using the music library. I don't have any playlists loaded right now. Mine's on random through my library. Hold on, my brother's calling. I'll be right back. And the radio sounds pretty good for a $74 radio that you're putting in like a $500 car. If you were really serious, you'd probably be buying a more expensive radio. Or at the bare minimum, there's a provision on this radio to tie the output of this radio to an actual amplifier if you wanted to go that route. There's a lot of options to customize the sound, loudness, bass, treble, the fading, the balance. I've also found that people have complained that the radio was dying after a month. If you don't have all your speakers connected or they're not connected properly, the Chinese finals on this thing, they're not going to last very long. They're going to blow out. They're probably very cheap. If you want to get back to Carplay from the setup, you have to go back to the home screen and click on the autoplay again, and it's going to drop the connection and reconnect. That's disgusting. Did you hear that? That gap? Oh, what were they thinking? So I'm demoing this remote control that I have pulled out of the shrink wrap today just for this video. I've never used this remote before. But yeah, lowers the volume, raises the volume, flips between songs. It's a remote control. How you could be so lazy as not be able to reach the radio from the driver's seat to passenger seat, I have no idea. I guess this is people in the back seat. And hitting the mode button takes you through the various modes, of course. And I took the mode to bring me back to the CarPlay, and the sound isn't working anymore. I can't get it to work. I'm wondering if I accidentally hit mute or whatnot, but mute has an indication. I wasn't able to recover from this. And ultimately, I'm trying different things. I had to shut off the radio, power it down, and turn it back on. You crank the volume all the way up, you're just getting this weird, funky noise. Yeah, unrecoverable. This is the last time I'll be using this remote. All the quirks are showing on this video. This is something. You can see it's playing. No mute. Cranked up to 40, full volume. Restart. There it is, back up and running again. I don't know, maybe the remote has bugs in it too. Who's to know anymore with this? Remote quirk aside though, I have to say that the sound quality and the CarPlay audio function is a definite win. In the evening you can really see how vibrant the screen looks. It's actually very nice. And I've got a song up and running for an incoming text message that I'm typing on the other phone. And there it is now. I'm going to go through the motions.
Steffi said hit the like button. Subscribe today. Would you like to reply?
Yes.
What do you want to say?
Thank you very much. Send.
Your reply to Steffi says thank you very much. Ready to send it?
Yes. It sent the message, but would you believe that volume thing happened again? This is the first time it's ever happened to me doing the message thing. It's the second time it ever happened to me, and that was today. So I really don't know what to make of it. This time I just disconnected the phone and reconnected it. And the audio worked again, so I got no clue. I'm going to resend another text again to see if it happens twice.
Steffi said test. Would you like to
Yes.
What do you want to
Okay.
Your reply to Steffi says okay. Ready to send it?
Yes. This time it worked just fine. I did everything exactly the same. This has never happened before, so yeah, you're seeing a lot of the quirks of this radio. The first time is I'm seeing it. I've sent over 100 voice texts since I've had this radio, never had this issue before. You can see on the other phone that the texts were received without any issue. So yeah, it's always worked fine for me until this moment of the review. I'm going to say that it has worked fine, and this is some weird fluke. Looking at the top left corner, right next to the infrared sensors, the microphone, we're going to see what some of the problems are when the microphone is situated inside the radio and not externally mounted.
Hello?
Hey, so this is me talking on the car phone. One of the problems is the microphone is buried in the radio. They didn't give an option to remote the microphone over the sun visor or anything like that, and I get a lot of complaints that vibrations from the car and noise from the dashboard makes it sound like the quality of the voice is really poor. The way people sound to me in the car when I hear them sounds really good. If I turn on my air now I got the air running, and people say that sounds even worse. If I'm laying in on the gas, it sounds worse. If I come to the light and my car is not moving, I'll demonstrate that. So now I'm at a light, the car's not moving, and now I shut off the fan. This is what it sounds like with the fan shut off. At a light, not moving, it's okay. But obviously I'm not going to be driving around like that. Yeah, that's unfortunate that they put the microphone right there in the radio.
So what do you say about a $74 radio that keeps going up in price, jam-packed with features, but it warns you in the instruction manual right out of the box to test it because it's probably broken? It looks cool. It seems like the idea and the concept was right, but the execution was real poor. It's got a lot of bugs. It's got a lot of quirks. If you're an experimenter, if you're, just somebody who wants to toy around with stuff, it's a cool radio. It's not something I would recommend for anybody who wants a reliable radio for their car. You've seen how many times it factory defaulted. I can't recommend it for that application. It's a toy. That's all it is. And that's a conclusion of my review of this radio. Hey, do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Helps me out a lot when you do. Hit that subscribe button for more videos when they come out. I hope you found this video entertaining, insightful, and informative. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?